Hey folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for Daily Death and Taxes. I've eaten lunch, I'm refreshed, I keep a questionable hand, and hope that Ether Vial gets me there. I don't think we get to throw back hands that have, like, very solid mana bases plus Ether Vial. It's just kind of awkward that, like, our hand doesn't really do much on this exact board. Maybe Nick Fit? Maybe Elves? It would be weird for Elves to fetch Bayou turn 1, though. Stoneforge is a great draw. It gives us something to do with our Containment Priest. Yeah. Wait, no land drop? No land drop. In which case, we do this. Like, obviously we want to play the Ether Vial as soon as possible, but... I legit don't know which piece of equipment to get. Jitte and Sword of Fire and Ice are both kind of appealing to kill my opponent's stuff, though. I'm gonna take the sword. It has card draw attached to it. And just threatens more damage. Hopefully my opponent just, like, spends their entire turn playing one large creature, and I just get to, like, slam Palace Jailer and take this game over. Yeah, I will Palace Jailer the shit out of a Dryad Arbor. Going jail, buddy. Never letting you out. I want to Recruiter the Guard for a Flicker Wisp next turn, so I can Flicker Titania or something of that ilk. Or Knight of the Reliquary. Yeah, that too. And I guess we're actually playing against a Loam deck that just kind of had an awkward start rather than a Nick Fit deck. A lot of life to give my opponent. And just Charming Prince and not attack this turn, though. Like, I can play Vile, which is awkward in the face of Blast Zone, but probably fine. And then just, like, put another creature under this. I think that's better. And then, like, I get to put the mom in the next turn. So now my opponent is facing down 6 damage. I can answer the next creature that they play, getting a mom in play to protect my stuff. I have a Recruiter, I have a piece of equipment that threatens to end the game, assuming I can get it into play. There's only one creature in graveyard. Kind of awkward. It like does represent a decent amount of life gain for my opponent. Weird turn. I think I just nuke the ooze and attack in for 6. And I probably still play another Vial because like I don't care if my opponent like loses a land. Like if I turn Vial into Wasteland, I'm super happy with that, right? Okay, so I was thinking about putting Stoneforge in next turn, but like, why not just cast it now? You know, we have to be dealing with Toxic Deluge level cards in order for my opponent to have a chance to get back into this. I have lethal being presented already in multiple different ways. Sure. I'd like to just be able to get the Knight of the Reliquary out of the way. That's a great draw. Okay, so do I have lethal now if I just Flicker Wisp that out of the way? My opponent blocks a 2/2. And I take 2, 4, 5, 6 damage. No, it is not lethal this turn. So close. So I can Stoneforge and put a piece of equipment in. I can Recruiter of the Guard for Charming Prince. Or Palace Jailer, use that to like blink the Palace Jailer, eat the Baleful Strix, so that my opponent doesn't get their Knight back, try to finish my opponent in the next turn cycle. Once I have flyers. Is putting my opponent to 1 fine, though? Like, I put my opponent to 1, or maybe 2, just like blink this out, attacking with all of these. It's 2, 4, 6, 7. They have to block. I let one of my creatures die. Like, maybe I protect. They have a Knight of the Reliquary. I have 2 bodies in play and a Vial on 2 for if I draw anything. Yeah. Just like getting this game closer to finished is probably fine. And I still have like 5 mana for like Tabernacle if my opponent fetches that up. Hold on, did I just miscount this entire time? 2, they block this, 2, 4, 5, 6. No, I didn't miscount this entire time. Yeah, let's attack like that. Swords to Plowshares? Do I just Swords the Knight now? Put them to 7? And not give them the opportunity to tutor? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have that easily next turn. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I think that's better than porting. Weird game in terms of, like, life total management. Like, I don't know what utility lands I have access to. How many Night of the Reliquaries? I just have lethal in the air, though. Yep. All right, and they remembered the Sword of Fire and Ice, so they now know they are deterministically dead. All right. So we're playing against a 4-color Loam build that appears to be very blue heavy, not just like Oko only. Probably want Rest in Peace for Knights and Loam. I probably want Cataclysm, Council's Judgment for Walkers. Leonin Relic Warder is interesting. Path to Exiles are interesting. This is a matchup that's really hard to board for. A lot of times I end up cutting Thalias. The taxation is definitely relevant, but I also need to be doing some things that deal with their walkers once they are in play. And this is a good way to do that. What was I doing previously? Do I even still have this file? I might have just deleted it. I can definitely see myself trimming a vial. Swords of Plowshares is awkward in that, like, as we saw there, giving my opponent the life matters, but, like, giving them the land also really matters. I think we're looking at, like, these 5 cards out, and then I don't know what the last one is. It could just be that I, like, board down 1 Stone Forge or 1 piece of equipment or something. It's not like Jitte's fantastic against an Oko deck. Like, it's good at picking up Bob and Strix, though, which is definitely something to its credit. Swords of Plowshares is a little worse than normal since my opponent has Baleful Strix. Like, using a Swords on a Baleful Strix to push damage through kind of sucks. Sanctum Prelate on 2 is pretty good. I think I'm going to pull that when I'm on the draw. I'm a little creature light now. Like, maybe I should have boarded out a piece of equipment. So whatever I play here probably gets Abrupt Decayed. The read that I have. But it's correct to lead on this based on the texture of this hand. Then I get double mob next turn, and we just kind of hope that my opponent doesn't play some, like, Oko Caliber card this turn. Which they probably do, since they kept their hand. Alright, this is sure to be a fun and interesting game of Magic. At least I can protect my future things from being elked, but my opponent making just a stream of 3/3s is very good against what I have going on right now. And I don't have the ability to actively pressure the Oko. So especially if they just play something like a Knight of the Reliquary here that jumps in front of this. I'm in bad shape. Yep, there we go. Great, great, great. At least this can attack into the Oko this turn. Safely, I might add. Do I protect and walk into Swords to Plowshares? Opponent has one card. I think I protect. I don't want my opponent. Well, then like my other mom gets elked. But like I also don't just want to have my opponent gain control of a Mother of Runes on this board. Like, am I good with this getting elked? My opponent will have the larger creature. Not really good with that getting elked. Let's try to make the attack in and see if my opponent blocks. Alright, they don't, so I'm not in danger of giving my opponent a mom in the short-term future. Sword of Fire and Ice potentially represents an Oko kill sooner. I'm going to go ahead and take that, even though like the Batterskull is definitely useful as well. Yikes. My opponent just killed their Oko. Unless they have like Maze of Ith or something. I just give my mom pro green and equip Sword of Fire and Ice. And then I get to kill Oko. Ah, that'll do. Alright. That's definitely frustrating in the short term. I think I go to... I need to not lose this Mother of Runes. So I think I go to their turn, let them pay for some amount of their stuff, and then Wasteland the Tabernacle. And a life from the Loam just utterly brutalizes me. We also cannot activate Knight of the Reliquary at this time. Seems like they're letting the food go. I don't need to sacrifice the Tabernacle yet because it would just grow their knights in case they decide to attack with them. Charming Prince, huh? I can hit the Oko for 5 this turn, then lose Mother of Runes. Not the best. The other issue here is like a Maze of Ith is potentially in my opponent's future. Not right now, but soon. I think I need to slow my roll for a turn and get another Mom active. And then when I get another Mom active, it's safer for me to attack into Oko. Please don't Plague Engineer me. Thank you for removing most of the loyalty from your Oko. I do appreciate that. Sure. You can get rid of a Mother of Runes now. Yeah. Now I get to kill one of these Planeswalkers on my turn. I also just straight up wonder if my opponent could have killed me by now by attacking with Knight of the Reliquaries and choosing a more aggressive stance. So now it's the turn where I decide which one of these things I'm killing. Probably Oko, honestly. Oko negating the sword is pretty bad on this board. Give this pro green. Equip this sword. Attack you directly. Blow up the Oko. What's the wording of this? Is it CMC? Yeah, CMC. And I was planning on playing Charming Prince, but now we'll play Flicker Wisp instead. Get something going on in the air, also get a Batter Skull going. We might actually end up getting this game. Obviously, the stuff my opponent is doing is very strong. But yeah, very much convinced that my opponent could have like just killed me by attacking, though. Yeah, here we see the pivot. I don't want to block this turn, though. Pick 12, go to 8, block with a Batter Skull Germ next turn. Be totally good. So I use 2 mana to put in Batter Skull. I can use 2 mana to just equip it and be set up more for the future, or I can just draw cards with Flicker Wisp this turn. Might be better, like equip to Flicker Wisp. This turn, block with Batter Skull. Next turn, equip Batter Skull to Flicker Wisp to have a giant Vigilant threat. I think I like that. This way also gives me a card. Sure. That actually is not all that annoying. With Sword of Fire and Ice around, like... I'm just getting through that. Maze of Ith is kind of a nuisance here. I can't beat that and kill next turn. I have 7 damage on board. Just equip. Just equip is pretty bad against Maze of Ith. I guess most of my lines are kind of bad against Maze of Ith in this turn cycle, though. I just handily beat Maze of Ith next turn, though. And it, like, forces my opponent to give up 1 mana source. I think I'm good with this. And now I can, like, Charming Prince, Flicker Wisp, Mox Diamond. Oh. Okay, this is the same thing. They're just growing their knights by more. Alright, so I play this land, I port down one of their lands, a Charming Prince, Flickerwisp, Mox Diamond. And next turn, I kill with Germ. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can't equip this and this, so I should equip this here. So it seems to me like Germ with protection represents lethal. Just give it protection from a color, port down Maze of Ith. And then I'm good. A Swords to Plowshares plus white land can buy my opponent a turn. Tabernacle's already in the graveyard, so I don't need to worry about that. I mean, that does represent the Swords to Plowshares that can beat me. Well, not beat me, but, you know, be very good against me. What am I doing here? What happens if my mom gets Swords to Plowshared? I just move equipment over to Batterskull and beat them that way. The Swords to Plowshare is already incredibly awkward for me on my own turn. So this is fine. Just like do this and gain some life. Could just be a bluff attack from my opponent because they're in such a bad position. So it seems like they have to have Abrupt Decay. Like, a Cabal Pit. Sure. What? Apply your damage replacement effects. Click on the shield to prevent damage to players. Click OK to choose automatically. Okay. I don't... Okay, do I have lethal this turn? Now that my opponent has tapped Maze of Ith, I need to deal 8 damage. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get most of the way there. But not all of the way there. I move Sword here. 1, 2. Let's get a Jitte in play as well. Yeah, I think Jitte in play is good. Now this has protection from Baleful Strix. Shoot my opponent there. We'll kill Baleful Strix when it's convenient to us. And we have a whole bunch of bodies and things to do with them. Opponent can't fetch for the rest of the game unless they have the mana to eat that food token, but I don't know how they would get the mana to eat the food token. Yeah, I think if opponent went aggro earlier, they just like handily win this match. They were too busy focused on like protecting their planeswalkers that they didn't turn the knights sideways. And now I'm in a position where it's pretty difficult for me to lose. Like, there are things that can happen that buy my opponent time. But, like, in particular, with the Baleful Strix out of the way, like, I'll use one Jitte counter to kill that, and then I have a whole bunch of different lethal threats that attack from different axes. Guess, like, a Toxic Deluge would beat me. But that's not really common anymore. Sure. I will block with this Germ, and I will block with a Charming Prince. Take no chances. I think I'm at the point where I just want to do this now. During my draw step, we are going to tap down this land. That way, if something like an Abrupt Decay is coming, we know it's coming. And this would like force the Knight of the Reliquary to tap. Gain 3 life. Okay. You're at 4. This is presumably a lethal threat in the air. You could Swords to Plowshares and survive. I can make 3 different lethal threats by equipping Stoneforge. Stoneforge getting through kills, Batterskull getting through kills, and Flickerwisp getting through kills. It's probably correct to do that. Has to be this piece of equipment, though. And I don't see any possible outs for my opponent here. Yep. Guess there's Swords to Plowshares, their own knight or something. Yeah, okay. GG's. Very surprised we beat the early combination of Oko plus Kaya. But again, just like the last round, I think we lost Sorry, we won due to our opponents doing questionable things rather than, like, the deck being powerful. Like, I played pretty well, but, like, if opponent turns those knights sideways earlier in that match and just lets their planeswalkers go, I think I just die to knights beats, like, very, very, very easily. Like, I nearly died to knight beats at the tail end of that game when they decided to start turning them sideways, and I think if they had pivoted earlier, I just couldn't have won.